Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Amphibia, Season 3, Episodes 8 and on. Like we have usually done, we are just going to kind of see where this goes and take it as many episodes as we need to. And we stop whenever I feel is right to stop at. So we've been getting some interesting stuff lately, some developments on how to possibly get back. We've heard about this Mother of Alms. And on top of that, the government is now after Anne and the planters. So that's fun. But I guess we just have to see where this goes. I mean, as I've said in the past, I kind of know at least a couple things about where this goes. But again, I don't know the context. I just know, like, okay, this is a thing. It's like basically seeing like a single screenshot or whatnot without knowing anything behind it. So it's like, I'm definitely interested to see what explains that, basically. And obviously I'll let you guys know when we get to those points. But I'm very excited nonetheless, because this is, I feel, going to be very interesting and very good. I've been impressed by how this season, or how this series evolved and developed, and how much better it became, especially starting in season 2. And so far season 3 is like, it's getting there, but it's not quite gotten there for me yet. But we've still got plenty of time to go. So we're just going to get into this. Not really much else I want to talk about right now. So let's see how this goes. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode, or episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, the human world, part of the story is over, for at least now. But I think it's over. I think the rest of this is going to focus on the battle for Amphibia and everything. But let's talk about these episodes in order, of course. And that includes 2 double-length episodes we had here. But first, let's start with episode 8. So 8A was Hollywood Hop Pop. And to not even hold back on it, I loved this episode. Like, the concept of bringing in Hop Pop's love for theater and everything and having it translate to Hollywood is a fantastic idea on its own. But with the addition of Wallace Shawn's Humphrey character and just the overall lesson and the idea of paying it forward being brought into the episode, it's just really fucking good. It's a really strong episode, and it has some good comedy in it. Hop Pop's entire catchphrase and everything. Plus, it also continues on with the main threat of Mr. X. And Humphrey as a character is really likable. He's a really likable, enjoyable character who, he's just like, I was so waiting for him to end up being a bad guy, but no, he's actually just a really sweet old man and ends up becoming one of the friends, one of the allies that they need in the end. And Wallace Shawn performed the role excellently. He did a great job. I'm almost a little disappointed that in his appearance in this and then in episode 10 there was no inconceivable reference. I'm a little disappointed at that, but he was still great. And I made enough references to that to last anyway. But 8B was If You Give a Frog a Cookie, and this was another just really fucking good one. It's like both of these segments in episode 8 were really fucking good. So this one continues the story as well. Anne finds out from Dr. Jan about another scientist named Dr. Frakes, who has the potential to help them. However, Dr. Jan wants to vet Dr. Frakes first for safety reasons and everything. But because of the planters kind of guilting Anne and everything, she decides they're going to go see Dr. Frakes right away. They meet Dr. Frakes and her assistant Terry, and it turns out Dr. Frakes is full-on mad scientist, and her work is succeeding. Like she's got successful work going on, to the point where it's like she has figured out the technology to opening a portal, but she also wants to dissect and make money off of the planters and everything. Luckily, Terry decides to help Anne and everything, and they save the planters. Dr. Frakes might have been eaten by a bunch of ravaged kids. Savage, I mean, not ravaged. By a bunch of savage kids. I know it kind of gave off that impression. I doubt that actually happened, but we never saw her again. I'm just saying, kids are scary. But Terry agrees to help them going forward, and so hell yeah, we got a new ally from that. And Terry's really cool. She's voiced by Kate Micucci, and yeah, that's always great. Kate Micucci has such a fun, recognizable voice, and she's just always great, and her characters are always great. I love Sadie from Steven Universe, and I love Dr. Terry. And you can call her Dr. Terry. I don't think she ever refers to herself that way, but still. Then we had episode 9. This was a holiday special, a Christmas special to be specific, though it does actually showcase at least Hanukkah in there as well, even if just briefly. So it's a Christmas special through and through, but it is very clearly also still canon. The Boonchoys are preparing for Christmas. Mrs. Boonchoy wants a big float, but decides to pass on it, even though she got the chance, because she doesn't want to bring attention to them, and you know, get them possibly hunted down by Mr. X again. However, Anne decides she wants to give this to her mom. She wants her mom to have this for Christmas. So, recruiting Dr. Jan and the IT gals, they start working on the float. Andreas gets a Christmas present of his own with this new humbug, as I'm calling it. I'm going to just call it that. I don't give a shit. And he sends it to Earth to take out Anne, and he is controlling it himself. It takes over a Santa float, and there's this big chase and battle stuff going on. It's really cool. It's really silly, but it's cool. And also, Mrs. Boonchoy's great. She's just fantastic in there, and just, you know, having fun, driving like a maniac and everything. And talking about how it's like similar to the streets of Bangkok and all. I really like that. And I love the way that Mr. Boonchoy like just looks at her while she's doing this. He's just like hand on his cheek. He's just smiling over at her, blushing. And he's just so in love with her, and it's so fucking cute. And I love them so much. Like I love them right from the beginning, right from episode 1 of this season. It's like, with my entire "oh no, they're adorable" kind of thing. But it's like, oh my god, I really love them. They're just so fucking cute. They're so likable. Mrs. Boonchoy's voiced by Matt Braley's mom, and that's really awesome as well. I just really love them. So they managed to defeat Andreas's robot and the Santa float. And yeah, then there's two big things that prove that it's definitely still canon. We see Darcy again. Darcy is kind of poking some fun at Andreas for failing, and that's pretty interesting. Darcy seems to have personality to them, and that almost kind of makes them more intimidating in a way. And yes, I'm referring to Darcy as them, by the way, because technically Darcy is the combined form of the Core and Marcy. And the Core itself is like all of Amphibia's greatest minds from the past. So it's technically an amalgamation of multiple beings. So therefore, I use they, them to refer to Darcy. I think it just makes the most sense for the character. But at the very end of the episode, we see that Anne is writing anonymous letters to both Sasha and Marcy's parents to explain to them what's going on and that she's promising to bring them back, which is really sad and emotional. It makes the stakes feel that much bigger. It's like we will have all three of them come back. I will cry hard if that doesn't happen. And throughout this, there is a song that's performed at a couple points by Rebecca Sugar with a character that looks just like them. So that's really cool as well. Rebecca Sugar is a great singer, obviously, and the music was very fucking pretty. It was a great Christmas carol. If I can find a full version, I might add that to my yearly holiday playlist. But yeah, I really liked it. It's definitely a really good holiday special. But then we go on to the final of these episodes that we reacted to today, Escape to Amphibia. In a way, this could be considered the mid-season finale, even though it's not exactly mid-season. Mid-season would be episode 9. But it's equivalent, you know? And this one very much felt like a mid-season finale. This was just impeccable. So the portal is starting to get up and running. It's not powerful enough, not big enough yet. And so while after the Boonchoys do this little shopping trip that's full of cute stuff, the plant Hop Hop is obsessed with avocados. There's a lightsaber fight and everything. And yes, before anyone says anything, because I know you will if I don't say something here, I did notice when Mrs. Boonchoy, quote unquote, stabbed Anne from behind with the lightsaber. I did get the comparison there. I ignored it at the time because I did not want to think about it. Let's just say that. Let's leave it at that. I did notice. So before any of you say anything, I got it, okay? But as they're leaving the store, Mr. X and the rest of the FBI come and they arrest the planters, and they are successful this time. So Anne, her parents, and the rest of the friends that they've made go on a big rescue mission, invading the temporary base of the FBI nearby, and planning a full-on prison break. Unfortunately, Mr. X was prepared for this and captures them. Luckily, he doesn't capture all of them because Dr. Jan and Terry manage to get away with the generator, which allows everyone else to escape. And my God, the scene with Anne, like, in the darkened hallway with the red lightsaber lighting up and all, it's like, is this a Rogue One reference? You know, in Rogue One, when Darth Vader comes in the hallway and everything, it's like that's exactly the specific moment it reminded me of. And it's like, it's honestly the coolest Darth Vader moment, period, in all of Star Wars. And that is exactly what it reminded me of, and it's like, I love this. I'm not even like the biggest Star Wars fan, but I love this. But she manages to take out the FBI agents using her combination of legitimate sword fighting skills and a plastic toy. um, and and with everybody else, they all escape. They get back to the portal, but Mr. X and the agents arrive before it can like get enough energy and everything. It doesn't seem like what they had planned with the generator from the base working. But luckily, they realize pretty quickly that Anne, as she uses her powers, they realize that her powers can, well, power the generator or power the portal and everything as well. So they lure a mantis out to distract the FBI agents, and at that point, they go through. There's a big part of this episode with Anne having to struggle with saying goodbye to her parents again, and at the end, it's really sweet how it's done, and it's really cute, and they trust her. And it kind of reminds me of Centaur World, the end of season 1, when Horse and Ryder have to go their separate ways again. This time, they're choosing to do it. This time, they have the choice to separate. And that makes it mean more, and that allows for more trust to be expressed between the two parties. In this case, the parents and Anne. Having that choice changes the entire context of the situation. And it works. Anne and the planters escape to Amphibia, with their friends and family being left behind to deal with the government still there. And we know they'll be able to handle it. They're strong. But the planters have not arrived in the Amphibia they left. They arrive in an Amphibia ravaged by not just war, but by a psychotic monarchy that is destroying the world. And yeah, it is now time to fight back. Anne has to reunite with Sasha and the residents of Wartwood. And it's about time we get back to saving Amphibia and Earth and all the other worlds under threat from King Andrias and Darcy. I feel like the final 8 episodes of this are going to go by pretty quick. It's going to be pretty intense. And I truly believe that we're going to really have to prepare ourselves for this. This is going to be big. And it's going to be sad when it's over, when it ends. I will cry. I can guarantee you that now. No matter what happens, like, I'm going to cry. Because I have grown to love this series. Not as much as something like Owl House or whatnot, but I have grown to love it nonetheless. And so I'm definitely curious how the second half of this season is going to go and how strong it's going to be in comparison. I honestly wish we could have spent more time in the human world with the Boon Choys and these other characters we've grown to love. But nonetheless, I enjoy the time we did have. And now it's time to get serious. And I think that we really need to handle this right. We're taking a week off. You're seeing this reaction on the 19th. Next Wednesday is the 26th. We are taking the 26th off. There will be no Amphibia next week. But when we come back the following week, we are going all in. We are going all in, and it's going to be intense. And we're going straight to the end, but we're also doing it one episode at a time. There will be no more double episodes until 7 and 8. 7 and 8 will be done together, only because I've heard it's a two-parter. Or not 7 and... Why did I say 7 and 8? I mean 17 and 18. They will be done together because I've heard it's a two-parter. So that's what we're going to do with that. And up until then, it'll be single episodes. So it'll be 11 one week, then 12 another week, then 13, and so on and so forth, until we get to 17 and 18. And those will be together to end it off. But like I said, we will be taking a break next week. Again, as of when you're seeing this. To prepare for it. And I'm even going to take a small break from recording this. Because of that. I'm going to take a break, breathe, and we're going full force when we get back. Because I want this to feel special. And I want this to be just as good as it can be in a viewing experience. And I think having a week off will help with that. I know some of you may be disappointed by this decision. I know some of you are going to be like really, really antsy over the fact that now you're going to have to wait an extra week before we get to another episode. But again, I think it's the right decision based on everything. And honestly, like there was a wait for people when they watched this series anyways, because apparently episode 9 aired at the end of November in 2021, and episode 10 didn't air until March 19th of the next year, of this year, March 19, 2022. So there was a bit of a break between episodes 9 and 10 mid-season. So in a way, Froggy Little Christmas kind of was a mid-season finale. Even though Escape to Amphibia acts more like one. But yeah. Either way, that's how we're going to do this. I think it's the right thing. So we have 1 week off. There just won't be Amphibia that week. There won't be anything replacing it or whatnot next week. Again, as of when you're watching this next week. And once we come back, 1 episode a week until the finale. We'll do 17 and 18 together. And I just hope you're ready. I hope I'll be ready. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes of Amphibia Season 3. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.